Next, we will look at the function f of x equals 1 divided by x. This is known as a reciprocal function. We are taking 1 and dividing it by our value of x, which is our variable. So let's make, again, a small table of values. And for this one, we can take negative numbers and positive because we are allowed to divide by a negative number. That's perfectly fine. So let's pick some values that are similar to what we would use if we were graphing a quadratic function. We'll do -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3 as our sample values. If we needed to go higher, we could. Now, when we substitute these in, f at -3 is going to be 1 divided by -3, which is -1/3, or if you prefer, -0.3 repeated. 1 divided by -2 is -1/2, or if you prefer a decimal, -0.5. 1 divided by -1 is -1. Now what's 1 divided by 0? Well, that's undefined because the cardinal rule of math is we are not allowed to divide by 0. 1 divided by 1 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. 1 divided by 3 is 0.3 repeated. Now this is not giving us a very clear picture. Let's see what we get when we plot this. -3, -0.3. -2 is -0.5. -1, -1. 0 undefined, so we don't put anything there. 1, 1. 2.5 and 3 is 0.3. Doesn't give us a very good picture of what's really happening. We can see that the points are getting closer to the x-axis as x gets further out, and here getting closer to the x-axis as it gets further out. But what I really want to know is what's happening in here, in between -1 and 1, or between 0 and 1, 0 and -1. So let's do a few more values here in our table. I'm going to choose -0.5 for x, -0.25. And I'm going to choose 0.25 and 0.5, just to get a little bit more idea of what is going on. So if I substitute -0.5 into x, I get 1 divided by -0.5. And if you're not sure how to do that on your calculator, so 1 divided by -0.5 is -2. 1 divided by -0.25 is -4. 1 divided by 0.25 is 4. 1 divided by 0.5 is 2. So that takes care of the values between 0 and 1 and between -1 and 0. So what do those look like? So at -0.5, the result is -2. At -0.25, which is even closer to the y-axis, the result is -4. So we can see that this curve is heading downward, approaching the y-axis, but it's never actually going to touch it. And we get a feature here called an asymptote, where we see the graph approaches this line but never quite reaches it. We have the same thing on the other side. At 0.5 it was 2, at 0.25 it was 4. We can see another asymptote feature here. So we actually have two asymptotes, one along the y-axis, there's a vertical asymptote, and one along the x-axis is a horizontal asymptote.